Okay, it's working. I'm here again. Last week it was really good to meet up with everybody, and I was thinking about what I could do this week. And I've been posting and doing lots of newsletters on how to keep the immune system boosted with all the different research I'm doing currently, and then with everything else I know about the immune system, about the body, about viruses. And it's all been in different newsletters, different posts. So I thought I'd sit here today and put it all together. And if you guys have any questions, feel free again to comment and I'll be happy to answer them. And so the first thing actually to do with immune boosting, it's not rocket science, it's actually to go back to the basics and to sleep well. And that actually is never a problem for me. And recently it has become, I think, just because of all the different changes and trying to figure out what to do at, the office and how to help people. And then also all the changes at home with homeschooling. It's been a lot for me to juggle. And I knew the stress was getting too high for me when I actually wasn't sleeping well, because sleep actually usually isn't an issue for me. So the first thing I needed to do was actually to meditate more. I do a daily meditation, and I realized with all the stuff going on in the world that meditating more really was the big thing that helped me sleep more. I didn't take any extra supplements. I didn't change up my diet. It really was meditation for me. And because if we actually get sleep deprived, one night doesn't seem so bad, 2 nights in a row, and then, if that third night it seems to be okay, then fine, the body can recuperate. But even if you're just waking up mildly and just not getting as deep of sleep, the stress hormones actually do change in the body. Hi, Mom. Nice to see you. And when the hormones change in the body, it's actually the cortisol that increases, which suppresses the immune function. So to be very specific, if the cortisol goes too high, immune system goes too low. Even if you feel like you can push through it right now, if we want to take care of the immune system, the goal is not to push through. And for stress management to sleep better, I actually had to stop watching the news. And I'll get little highlights here and there on a daily basis, but it's definitely not the first thing that I turn on in the morning. I'm not digging through the news trying to figure out who says what, and that actually really helped me. So if you are feeling stressed, maybe stop watching the news, maybe just don't watch it as much, and actually, you know what? Watch the news. And if you're done watching the news, if you feel better, fine. But if it makes you actually feel more stressed out, then actually not to watch it. Um, so there's my tip. Um, Stress management also is exercise, and it's nice. I do have a home routine of doing yoga at the end of my bed in the mornings before the girls wake up, and so I've increased that and not gone to the gym. But Down Dog is the app that I use. I've paid for it. I love it. It's for my yoga. But the company has actually announced that they're giving the app free for everybody. It's Down Dog app for yoga. They do have ones for bar and high intensity interval training. And so check those out. They're all free. So I think until the end of June, I'm not quite sure. I've paid for mine, but I'm happy to spread the word. You can do it at home. And you just hit play, and it has a new routine for you at your level that you choose anytime. And so there's no excuse on that. And so I have patients who come into the office, and sometimes they're doing, oh, Sandy says May 1st. Okay, thank you, Sandy. um, I have patients come into the office. Sometimes they're better now than ever on their diet because they feel like they have more control. They're eating at home. They're drinking less because they're not socializing as much. And then I have others who are eating worse because they're not well organized. They didn't plan ahead in time. They are stress eating. So, really, if you fall into that category, please do your best. Take it one day at a time and try to eat less carbs because it turns into sugar in the body. Try not to have any white refined sugar. It's the one thing that I think you can do to the body to lower the immune system. Sugar increases in the diet, and the immune system goes down. Alcohol would be my number two. Again, same idea, it lowers the immune system. And the less you do, the better. The more water you drink when you're having your wine, the better, because at least you're flushing it out. Um, so try to take those out of the diet if you're having them. Then one thing that's great to add into the diet is bone broth. Do vegetable broth if you're a vegetarian. 1 cup a day on a consistent basis will keep the immune system boosted. It just has so many good vitamins and minerals. I also believe in drinking something warm first thing in the morning. If it's not bone broth, if you guys can't get it, if you don't know how to make it, do warm water, um, and squeeze some lemon in there, and that can be really good detoxing for the body. Um, Besides drinking warm water in the morning, make sure you're staying on top of your water. Actually, when I'm home, I tend to drink less water. I'm out of my routine. I drink more water when I'm in the office. So it's been good for me to stay on top of my water intake. I suggest doing 2 liters a day or more. And there's water apps out there. A lot of my patients have trouble remembering, even if their glass is sitting right there next to them. And so a water app, I mean, it can be as simple as the alarm ringing every hour to remind you, but it also is a good place to log in, because sometimes I'm like, oh, how much water do you drink? And patients are like, I drink enough. And I see, that the body's telling me no, that they don't. So sometimes it's just bringing awareness to how much you drink. Vitamin D is really good for the immune system. I do suggest taking it, but even better, especially now that it's springtime, would be sunbathing. And you're not going to go out to the beach and go in your swimsuit and get sun that way. But sunbathing in the springtime in upstate Northeast is actually going out. If it's nice enough, wear a t-shirt, but try to at least get enough sun on the face. Lay out there, as showing as much skin as possible given the weather. When around noon would actually be ideal. Now that we're home, if you can possibly do that, 10 minutes would be enough vitamin D, but every day. And now it would be a good excuse if you have access to being outdoors, being 6 feet away from everybody. To keep the immune system boosted, a chiropractic can be really helpful. It's what I see in all the different studies, what we've learned in school, what I see in the office. I love treating kids 10 and younger for ear infections. Actually adjusting the neck, adjusting the ear, can just get all that mucus or bacteria moving down through the body. So I use it a lot in my office, but it was actually interesting to see the research. I didn't even know this research existed until last week, that chiropractors were actually key in the 1918 Spanish influenza. And I mean, we know from a clinical scientific background that having all the joints in alignment, having the spine in particular, allows all the nerve flow from the brain through the spine to all the different organs, the immune organs in particular. Allowing all that to correct allows to keep the immune system boosted, also to increase circulation. But the hard actual numbers, it was kept in 1918, came from reports in New York City, of all places. Here I am in New York City, and these scientific facts were in New York City. That reports in New York City during the influenza of 1918, out of every 10,000 cases medically treated, 950 would die. In the same epidemic with drugless methods, only 25 patients would die out of every 10,000 cases. So the difference between medically treated 950 cases would die and drugless methods is the term, 25 patients would die. I thought those numbers were fantastic. I'll send you the link of the research after I'm done here if you guys want to read more details. And so I just thought that was amazing. It was empowering. It really spurred me on to be more passionate about keeping everybody really well. So one of my favorite do-it-at-home recipes for your immune system, I've been using it for a couple of years now, is it's easy. Hopefully you guys have this ingredients at home. It's garlic, ginger, lemon, and manuka honey. It's great for kids. It's great for all ages as long as kids will eat it. Because of the honey, usually they will. Besides boosting the immune system, it really helps with digestion and detox. So what you'll do is take 2 lemons and actually keep the skin on. The skin is really good nutritionally, also high in fiber. You will do a half a cup of fresh ginger, just peel the skin, and a half a cup of garlic cloves, and a half a cup of the manuka honey. If you can't get the organic manuka honey, then go ahead and get any type of raw organic honey that you can. The manuka honey, though, has really medicinal properties. It's very expensive. It has numbers on the label, sometimes 5 plus, 10 plus, 15 plus. The higher the number, the more medicinal it is. And with all my research, it does make a difference. It's worth it because 5 plus would be cheaper than 15 plus. But get the highest number that you can. And you would put all the ingredients, you would chop it up, put it in a blender, and you pulse for a few seconds. And it's almost like a paste. It doesn't really have much juice. The fiber is really good, makes it more beneficial for the gut in particular, because the gut, hold on a second. The fiber in the gut allows for good gut flora to nourish. Fiber is known as prebiotic. Probiotic is all the good bacteria that we put into the gut. But if we don't have the fiber, then the good bacteria has nothing to grow on. So the prebiotic with the probiotic is what is needed to help with the gut flora. And the lemon rind is perfect, easy fiber to get into the system. So it's actually better taken on an empty stomach in the morning. If you don't get it in, then I'm so sorry, I'm going to cough. Then it's good a half hour before meals or before going to bed. As a preventative, if you're feeling healthy, you just want to stay strong, you would do 1 teaspoon a day. If you actually feel like you're getting something, even if you think you're getting something, I would instantly do a teaspoon every 3 hours. Medicinally, it does build up in the system as a good thing. So the more regularly you take it, the more effective it actually is. Store it in a glass container with a top on it in the refrigerator. The longer it sits, the more medicinal it actually is. If you don't have these ingredients, don't worry about it. Make it when you do. But essential oils would be my next go-to. And you can get empty veggie caps that you can put things in. They're easy to order online. And I would use oregano and lemon and frankincense are my top 3. If you don't have the veggie caps, you can put it in water. It's hard to drink. You can put it right in your mouth. I can't. I feel like it would be way too strong. So I do the veggie caps. And my recipe, if I was to do my full-blown immune boosting recipe, would be 2 drops of frankincense, 2 drops of tea tree oil, 4 drops of On Guard. It's doTERRA's immune boosting support. It has a lot of clove and lemon and orange in it. If you don't have On Guard, do 4 drops of clove, 2 drops of oregano, and 6 drops of lemon. I would put all those drops in 1 capsule, and then I would take it instantly because actually all that essential oil makes the capsule start disintegrating. I would just do 1 a day, ideally in the morning. And actually, what I'm most excited to talk to you guys about is that I've been muscle testing a lot recently. And over the last couple of weeks, I've narrowed down a really good immune boosting protocol. And I love making it very particular, very personal to everybody, because everybody is a little bit different. But over the last couple of weeks, I've been testing and trying to figure out what seems to be the best for people in general. If I was to just give general advice and not be very specific, and I've narrowed it down to this would be the main protocol I would do is Immuplex and Antronex from Standard Process. Standard Process is right behind me. The Antronex is here. And Standard Process is an organic farm out in Wisconsin, and they do only food-based supplements. It's whole food, and I really believe the body knows how to heal with food. So I use herbs in the office, I use homeopathy, but the majority of what I use is Standard Process. So Standard Process is Immuplex and Antronex. The Immuplex is almost like every medicine cabinet in America should have it. It's just that go-to that helps with everything, bacteria, viruses, and it has so many good vitamins and minerals in it and supports overall. And then Antronex is used. It's actually a liver fat extract, which I know sounds weird, but having the right nutrients for the liver gets the stagnant liver moving. And we need the liver moving so that anything that the white blood cells are fighting can get moved through. Because when you start an infection, bacteria or viruses, pus and mucus will build up. Like let's take, the common cold, and you get all the sinuses and it's all congested, maybe a sinus headache. And we want to get that moving out so that you can feel better. And so when you move that out, that's what Antronex is for. The word we use is drainage. And people will feel better and the body can fight the infection faster. And let's see. Vitamin C is really important. There are so many different types of vitamin C out there. Ascorbic acid would be the chemical vitamin C that you would make in the laboratory. That's not necessarily what we want. The best vitamin C is liposomal vitamin C, or Standard Processes Cataplex C, made from whole foods is what you're looking for. The liposomal vitamin C you can find also in liquid form, which can be really nice for kids. Oh, the wellness blend that I've actually designed a few years ago. I designed it actually because I wanted to support the immune system, and people would come into the office not feeling well, and I felt like, okay, here's 5 new supplements you need for your immune system, and I wanted one really good immune boosting supplement so that I didn't have to give them 5 new supplements. And so I formulated wellness blend that has the liposomal vitamin C in it. It also has echinacea, garlic, which helps kill everything, a mugwort, lysine, a eucalyptus, and golden seal. And so all these different herbs and the right type of formula I've seen work wonders. And elderberry syrup isn't something that I actually use very often in the office, but I'm starting to use it more and more, and I've loved seeing the results. Elderberry syrup, I guess I stayed away from it because of all the sugar in it that I felt wasn't helping support the body by actually lowering the immune system. So when you get an elderberry syrup, try to make sure it's organic cane sugar at the worst. No high fructose corn syrup, no regular sugar, no dextrose, sucrose, anything that ends in ose would be the regular crappy sugar. Maybe elderberry tinctures would actually be the best way to go. Hi, Cassidy. And so the tinctures are good because then there isn't any added sugar, but it's also, not as easy on the taste buds to take. But the one reason why elderberries are great, bioflavonoids, destroy viruses and bacteria, and they actually have a way of going into the cell and getting the virus out of the infected cells, which is amazing. And not all foods are able to do that. Elderberry is also known to be really good for the lungs, any type of bronchial respiratory problems, and elderberry has a high amount of vitamin C again. Zinc is really well known for the immune system, and I do use it a lot in the office. Zinc tablets can be great, but zinc lozenges can also be really good and easy for the kids. And the zinc lozenge is good too, especially if you're trying to help support and protect the throat. And the tonsils are back here. The zinc lozenge, the zinc will sit back here, so anything, virus or bacteria that comes in, it hits the back of the throat, it can be killed right then. It doesn't have to wait to become a problem later down in the body. And homeopathic wise, zinc, any type of liquid vitamin C, the elderberry syrup can be great for kids that can't actually swallow tablets. But also in the office, I use a homeopathic company called HVS Laboratories, and they have a formulation. It says bacteria because it's made for bacteria, or viruses made for viruses. So it depends on what you're trying to go after. This is all really good for preventative. And if we are actually fighting something, the Antranex would be good, the Imuplex would be good, but dosages might change, and I would use different herbs depending on where the person was in fighting the infection that they're going on. And so I think that about covered it. Let me see. Andy's suggesting about probiotics. And so having the good gut flora is important because it'll prevent the bad bacteria from setting in. A healthy body would be, bacteria, virus, pathogen, parasite in, and then parasite out. The body would be able to take care of it on its own. That's ultimately what we want. And so if you have a good gut flora, then that parasite, I'm using that as an example, would come in and go out. It wouldn't necessarily sit there. And sushi is known to actually have parasites because of the raw fish. And that's why the wasabi and the ginger are actually there. They're not there for taste or clearing the palate. They're actually there to help kill the parasites that are coming in. The wasabi is really nice and hot, and that ginger really helps kill parasites as well. So it's interesting to see culturally how people have tried to protect themselves. Mexican food, I think that's why the hot peppers are there as well. So I hope this helps. It was so good to see you guys. And I will keep doing this. Elderberry tea. Yes, you can get the same benefits from elderberry tea as you can the tinctures or the syrups. It just won't be as concentrated. So maybe you'd want to do 3 or 4 teas in the same amount of one tincture. So I want to continue these. So I will see you guys next Monday at 1:30. Take care.